Good morning. It is Thursday morning, and this is why I live where I live. And don't look at the weeds that are in the pots. Look at the beauty that there is out there. And even though there's still a little snow on the mountains, and that's not even the high Uintas, they are still just covered in snow. It's beautiful out west of me. And down here on the river bottom, sometimes you can hear the cows out there, and especially when they're taking their calves off of them. And then here in a couple of weeks, this hayfield right next to me is going to be lush and green and beautiful with alfalfa. And he'll be out there in the middle of the night mowing, and I'll go out and sit on the front porch and listen to it because it's just calming to me. Beautiful. And yes, Kaylee told me I do need to get that trampoline up. It is now summer. Okay, let's talk peppers. A couple of weeks ago, I think I told you about my epic fail when it came to pepper seeds and tomato seeds, and how I had to go to the nursery and buy plants to come put in my garden. So I'm going to show you what I have available, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do to them. So this first batch, I believe, is a mixture of jalapenos. The great big ones right here are jalapenos. And then the ones over there that are just tiny are sweet banana peppers. And then the next one, this one right here with the big ones, the tall ones are jalapenos, and these smaller ones in the front, they are California Wonder sweet peppers. And then clear over on that side, the ones in the back that are really tall are Better Bell sweet green peppers, and these up here in the front are jalapenos. These are not jalapenos, these are Anaheims, and I think I told you wrong. Now this right here in the middle, that's the remnants of my epic fail. Now, I had 2 complete flats of pepper plants that were planted. And so out of 2, I probably have maybe 3/4 of the flat that did come up and are surviving. But here's the biggest problem. See those little white tags? Y'all can't read what's on those little white tags. So this entire batch of peppers is just a surprise. So we're going to plant them maybe in a little different area so that I can kind of watch them and see what they are. Oh, what a year. So we're going to start with all the necessities to plant sweet and hot peppers. There's our fertilizer. Here's the Epsom salt. If you listened to my video this morning and I told you about my big oops, here's that soil additive. Here's my diet soda that I have to keep operating this early in the morning. And no, it's not that early. I understand that. But we've got something to dig with. And then I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about these peppers that I'm putting in the ground. So if you are not a pepper person or haven't planted peppers before, I like to plant sweet peppers because I use them to cook with, and I use them to put in salsa and soup and just all kinds of things. I love the taste of peppers. Some people don't, and that's okay. And you don't have to grow peppers if you don't want to. But peppers are pretty easy to grow. It takes a lot of neglect to kill a pepper plant. Apparently not so much to not get the seeds to come up, but just to grow it once it's here. But the ones that I have grown in the past, I've grown Better Bells, which is what I've got this year, and also California Wonders. And all of them are going to be green unless you leave them on the plant too long, and they will turn red. And if they turn red, they just have a little sweeter, milder taste than the green ones do. I like red peppers. I don't grow them very much. I don't buy, so last year I bought plants specifically for their color. I bought some that were going to be yellow and some that were going to be red and some that were going to be even purple black. And I thought that would be cool to make stuffed peppers out of those black ones. But none of them grew well, except for the old standbys, the California Wonder and the Better Bells. So those are the ones I'm growing this year. I'm not going to go for any of the fruitcake ones. We're just going to do that. With the exception of I'm also going to do some banana peppers, and they are also a sweet pepper. And I like the taste of them. And I also, if I pickle them, and you can kind of make them like the peppers that you have at, I don't know, Subway that you put on your sandwiches to give them just that little bit of tang. I love that. So I'm going to plant some of those too. And those were those little tiny ones that I showed you. The two hot peppers that I'm going to plant that I know what they are Anaheims and jalapenos. And last year, the entire pepper pot that I'm going to plant in this year was completely full of jalapenos. And we had jalapenos coming out our ears. And we made cowboy candy, and we made jalapeno jelly, and we put the jalapenos in salsa. And we gave away jalapenos, and it was as bad as zucchini, but they grew, they were lovely. I really like a jalapeno. I'm not too much of a hot person, but boy, do they give you that nice little kick when it comes to salsa and different things. So I like those. The Anaheim chilies I have stuffed in the past. They're a hot pepper, but they are a little bit more mild than the jalapeno, and I like the taste of those as well. Now, as for those surprise peppers that I planted the seeds and now don't know what they are, there are some poblanos there, and I hope that they came up because I really like poblanos stuffed, or make chili rellenos out of poblanos. I think they're just yummy. And then there's some sriracha, I think, and also some cayenne peppers. And honestly, I'm not going to know what they are until they come up and start producing. So I guess we'll talk about peppers a lot this season. I don't know. But we're going to get started planting them right now. And I have a challenge here, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so this is the pepper pot. And last year I had jalapenos in it. They grew great. And I usually try to rotate my crops between different beds, but I just decided that I've got so many peppers that need to be planted. See all that green stuff? And this would just be the best place. So what I went ahead and do, I've added some amenities to it. It's got compost in it. And then we'll go ahead and add the fertilizer, the activator, and the Epsom salt when I plant them. But what I have to do is I'm going to split this right down through here and then right across here so that I'll have 4 quarters. And one of them will have Anaheims in it. One of them is going to have jalapenos. One will have Better Bells and California Wonder. And then probably I'll put the sweet peppers in with those. So it'll be pretty much half hot and half sweet. And then as for all these surprise plants, which they're getting to look pretty. I haven't transplanted them into the bigger pots like these, but they're getting to be pretty big, and I'll probably just plant them right out of the 6-packs. I don't know where I'm going to plant them. I don't know if I will plant them just like around the outside for surprise, or if I'll go ahead and put them maybe in these kind of pots. See, I've got a couple of those, not the blue one. The blue one's way too deep. That's what I just haul my compost around with. But I've got this wash tub. I've got 2 more just like this wash tub. And then I've got these. I think I've got 2 more just like that. So I could put all those surprise peppers and maybe just put them right out here so that they'll be out of the way. But then they'll also get the pollinators the same time that these other peppers are getting stuff in here. So that's the plan. Let's start planting. Okay, so we're going to plant this pepper now. And if you notice, this soil is just super, super fine. And it's going to be really easy to work with. And I'm sorry if me digging in the dirt without gloves on drives some of you crazy, but I just like to do it. And so that's the way I do it. And that's also why my hands look the way they do. But anyway, you got to make sure that that hole is big enough to have some area around the pepper. And then just, grab it out and see how fine that is. So yeah, it's going to be a little difficult to work with for a few minutes. But anyway, so then I've gone ahead and I'm going to put just a pinch of soil activator, a pinch of fertilizer, and a pinch of Epsom salt. And then I'm just going to move that down and cover it all up with dirt so that just like the tomato plants, so that those roots on this are not in direct connection with that, because if you do, it's going to burn the roots. And so I've already scored this little peat pot on 3 sides, and there I done the 4th side, and I'm just going to pop off that bottom there, and then I'm just going to put that pepper down inside there. And this, like I said, it's really fine, and so I can just go back and it'll just backfill around that pepper. And one of the things I'm going to do after you get it in the ground is just kind of give it a little pat, just compacts it a little bit down in there. But now you're going to notice that that's a pretty tall pepper, and there are 2 groups, some that say do not top your peppers, others that say do top your peppers. And I'm of the do top your pepper group, because I think that when you top them, meaning to cut off the top bits of them, then they'll branch out more, they'll be bushier rather than long leggy plants. And so also, if you'll notice, this plant is trying to set fruit, and we want to take that off as well. So I'm going to take this one and pop it right there before and pop it off, and then I'm going to take this one off right about here. So you've still got a bunch of good sets of leaves there, but I'm going to cut off that little fruit. Probably going to just take that little guy too. Now you say, oh my gosh, you butchered him. But really I didn't. He looks a little scary right now, but after about 2 or 3 days, these little tiny leaves you see here will start branching out, and they'll start putting out leaves on these stem ends. And so they'll just be more of a bushy plant instead of just a tall, lanky plant. And that's the way I like my peppers to be. Now, this is only something that you can do when your plants are big and tall, like these are. And like those are in that flat that's closest to us, and then the one that's there in the back, those jalapeno peppers. You can top all of these. But you cannot top those little teeny tiny ones, because all they've got, they're just barely getting their leaves on there. So there's these, and then I would say probably those California Wonder that are right there in the front of that flat are not going to get topped today. And none of the surprise flat are going to get topped today, but just the big tall ones. And I want you to know that I'm probably planting them between 12 and 14 inches apart. Now, if you read the seed packet, or if you read any of the instructions on the internet, it says they need to be 18 to 24 inches apart. I think that is if you are putting in the ground, if you're putting them in rows in the ground. If you're putting them here in this raised bed where you have complete control on how you're feeding them and when you're feeding them and what you're feeding them, as well as the watering situation, you don't have to say, I wonder if that water got in there to all those plants. I think that 12 to 14 inches is plenty enough, and they'll just get bushy and they don't interfere with each other. So that's what I do. You need to do what's best for you. And I'm going to finish planting all of these Anaheims and probably the jalapenos, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so the peppers are all planted. Those over on that side, you can tell, have had the tops of them nipped off, and those are all the hot peppers. These here, some of them have been nipped off. The ones right up here at the top, they are the Better Bells. And then these little tiny ones right here are the California Wonders, and these here are the yellow bananas. So I came out pretty good. I think I have 2 yellow bananas left with all those poor little guys right here. But I think that I'm going to run in and wash my hands because they're kind of dirty. I know. And I'm going to run back to work, and then I'm going to be back here this afternoon. My daughter's coming home early from work, and she's going to help me plant some more things, and we'll do another video or 2. So we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. We'll talk to you soon.